Planet Vero Studios, brought to you by Evergreen Media, creating cohesive marketing campaigns. Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
Honestly, without Treasure Coast Community Health, I think we'd be a much poorer community in terms of our health. We're always striving to fill the gap for everyone in the community, rich or poor.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Community Conversations. As the intro may have indicated, Treasure Coast Community Health is a very responsible organization that provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, pharmacy, x-ray, all the services that you and your family are probably looking for these days as we wrap into the first days of summer. And so on community, it's going to be one of those days, folks. Stay tuned for laughs. Community Conversations allows us to bring folks in that are affiliated with us or not. It's really about those folks that we collaborate with during the rest of the year so that you can find out more about them. So today we're going to talk about money, which is really a far afield from primary care, usually. So today, Jeff, I'd like to welcome you as the CEO of the Community Foundation here in Vero Beach.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You know, I've been curious, Jeff, so I'm probably going to embarrass myself, but a lot of counties, whether it's in Florida or any place else, don't have community foundations like you've brought to us.
Yeah, the Community Foundation concept has been around for more than 100 years. The oldest ones are in New York, Cleveland, Los Angeles. Okay. Our Community Foundation is on the younger side. We're 15 years old. The other 15-year-old community foundation that's a little faster growing than us is the Silicon Valley Community Foundation. We're number 2 when it comes to the fastest growing 15-year-old community foundations. And it really is a reflection of the generosity of a community and the community civic spirit that people have when these organizations get founded. Several years ago, when Robin Lloyd and Anne Marie McChrystal and Rick McDermott put their heads together along with a few other community leaders, they thought that we would benefit from a community foundation. And so it was really their insight and inspiration that led to us forming ours. And I'm proud to say that after 15 years, we're one of about 500 in the country that are accredited. But there are lots of communities still around the country that don't have a community foundation.
Yeah, that's been my experience as I talk to others that are in, growing places, and I ask, and they are like, what are you talking about? But I think you're right. I think it comes back to the roots of this community in terms of generosity and looking out for each other. When you started talking, I thought maybe one of the names that would pop up was Alma Lee Lloyd.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, one of my favorite people.
Yes, yours and many others. That's why she has a whole bridge named after her. So tell us a little bit more about what you've been able to accomplish with our community input in terms of number of assets and how does it work?
Yeah, great. I appreciate you asking me. So our primary mission is building a better community through donor-driven philanthropy, and that donor-driven part is very important. The first thing that we do is to help generous individuals and families who reside here some or all of the year to open up a charitable giving account and really organize their philanthropy. And so some of them may be thinking about setting up a private foundation, but they're retired. They don't want the headache of running another business, or they may already have a private foundation and they want to wind it down. And so they set up a donor-advised fund with us. And we basically provide them with a way to organize their giving, and it's tax advantaged. We're a public charity, so when people give appreciated securities to us, for example, the deductibility of that is much higher than, let's say, a private foundation. We work very closely with a network of professional advisors in the community, whether it's attorneys like Todd Fennell and his team or John Moore and his team, accounting firms here, financial advisors, to help clients plan their charitable giving. We can take any type of asset that they want to give, everything from cash and stock to, if somebody wanted to give an antique Ferrari, we can.
I was just thinking cars and boats.
Cars, boats, real property, farmland that they don't want that's carved up. And if we can't take it, you probably can't give it to a charitable organization. We typically liquidate those assets, and then the clients get to choose whether they want to hire their own financial advisor to invest them, or They use our pools. They pay us a fee. We're a not-for-profit, so the fees pay for the work that we do for our clients. And then we have fun giving the money away. And so cumulatively, in our 15 years, we've given away about $110 million, most of which goes to local charities. Last year, it was about $12 million for the year. And a good amount of that comes from client accounts and the support, the causes that they want to support.
And I would think that since a lot of the folks that live here and bring the assets to our county, as you say, are aging, and their children aren't always invested in continuing that, how do I say it, the effort that it takes to know and do the right thing on behalf of mom and dad or grandma and grandpa anymore. So I would think that they come to you fairly relieved that they don't have to burden their children or grandchildren with that successive effort.
That is a point that people focus on. You know, if we do our job well, when they set up their accounts over the years, we earn their trust. And oftentimes people say, you know, I've spent the best 30 years of my life here in a place that my kids will probably never live in.
Exactly.
But I care deeply about the arts here or health-related organizations or the environment. So I'm going to leave something behind. We have the first person who did that was Amalie Loy. She's the namesake of our Legacy Society. And she left a substantial gift, surprised all of us. And that gift is held in perpetuity in an endowment that supports community issues throughout the community. Another 80 people so far have made a provision in their estate plan to join that Legacy Society. And we estimate that there's something between $100 to $200 million that's going to flow to the Community Foundation over the course of the next several generations. Some of that will be advised by heirs, people who still live here from what their parents brought them down here and they live here. But a good amount of that is left to the Community Foundation and our advisors to be able to make decisions about the best place to deploy those resources going forward.
So the Community Foundation has a board. Is that separate from your advisory group relative to the investments?
It's a great question. So we have a board of directors. It's independent. It's currently chaired by Michael McManus, and our incoming chairperson is Katie Healy. And we have another 15, 16 people that serve on that board of directors. They're responsible for governance and strategic planning for the foundation. They obviously supervise my performance as the CEO. But the professional advisor network, we've got a few professional advisors, attorneys and CPAs on the board, but the majority of them are not on the board. They're part of our team, and they work within their own firms, taking care of their own clients, and we're part of the team that gets brought to the table. Let's say a client is unwinding from their real estate holdings in the Northeast, and they're moving their residency to Florida.
Okay.
If philanthropy is part of what they want to do when they get here, we don't necessarily get involved with all the real estate dealings. But once they start talking serious about giving money away, we get brought to the table and we'll sit down and listen to what they care about. We'll talk with them, make introductions sometimes to charities that they may not know about. Sometimes we'll help them develop a strategy for making an impact in an area that might be important to them. But over time, we become part of the team for those advisors, whether they're attorneys, accountants, or financial advisors.
That's really an important aspect of it, to understand the differences because it seems like when you have money, there's lots of hands out saying, I'll help you for a fee. And you're not fee-based in that way.
No, we charge a fee for our clients' accounts that pays for our staff and the work we do, not just taking care of clients' needs. I mean, a lot of the things that we do focus on identifying community needs and doing the research to make sure that our clients are practicing effective philanthropy.
And that leads right into the community needs assessment. And we didn't even practice this.
No, we didn't.
Way to go,
good
Jeff.
segue, right?
So that's how your organization really came to say it's time and we need to do a thorough community needs assessment so that you could then offer honest advice relative to pockets of poverty that we might have, organizational gaps. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, when I came here in 2015, I've been a community foundation CEO a few times before, and this was an opportunity to take one that had gotten started and move to the next level. I'm not from Vero Beach, and I did not know much about Indian River County other than it was a nice place to vacation and surf if there's waves, and that it had a very generous population. So asking me where's the best place to give money to on my first day in town was not a good idea. What we decided to do was to invest in some resources to, number one, inventory all the charities in town. So we have an online nonprofit search where charities send information, and it's basically the most transparent and accountable resource for anyone to learn about the governance, the finances, the management, and the programs of more than 125 charities in town. We've got about 175 that earn more than $50,000 a year in income, and another 600 of the little small mom and pops that don't really make much money. But the core group we focus on is about 125 to 175 charities in town.
Which is an awful lot to look up on Candid.
Oh, it is. Yes, absolutely. It is. So our clients rely on us to do some of that heavy lifting for them. But those are the organizations that are addressing the needs. The big question is, well, what are the real needs?
Exactly.
With some limited news resources, you don't hear about all of the things that community residents are struggling with. And so in 2019, together with the county and the health department and the United Way, Johns Island Community Service League, and Head Heart Hands of Indian River Club, we ended up going out to market, bringing in a researcher. They spent about a year working with us to go out to market and conduct about 1,500 individual surveys in English, Spanish, and Creole. We employed help from organizations like Treasure Coast Community Health and others to go and put those surveys in front of their patients or clients. Real people, and they gave us honest feedback. We did about 12 focus groups to really kick the tires on what we were hearing. So we have a convenient sample and good indicators, and some really important findings that I'm glad to share, at least some highlights of that.
Well, let's take a short break so we can have a word from our other sponsors, and then we'll come back. I'd invite you to line up all the great information because you've recently updated, haven't you?
We have, for sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Waves Auto Spa, known as Vero's fastest and finest. A car wash known for their quality equipment and attention to detail by a friendly and courteous staff. Waves offers soft cloth technology, and a top-notch detail center will help preserve the value of your car. Waves now offers windshield chip repair, and in most cases, it doesn't cost you a dime. Spend less time and get a better quality experience for you and your car at Waves Auto Spa, US 1 Vero Beach, across from Kmart Plaza. Open 7 days a week.
The world's most beloved musical, The Sound of Music, comes alive at Port St. Lucie High School. Featuring a cast of 50 and a live orchestra, the show runs June 14th through 18th for 7 big performances. Come hear all the songs you know, including Edelweiss, Do Re Mi, and Climb Every Mountain. Tickets are $20 and are available now at Perkins Restaurant in Port St. Lucie, Joy's Ice Cream in Fort Pierce, Vivid Salon and Spa in St. Lucie West, and the Port St. Lucie High School office. Don't miss The Sound of Music, the theatrical event of the season. Learn more at pslhsdrama.com.
Is owning a home your goal? With the rising cost of rent, you could be saving a lot of money by owning your own home. At Caliber Home Loans, we can help make home ownership a reality. Meet with us for a free consultation and get on the right path to buy the home of your dreams. For Caliber, home loans is all we do. We use local appraisers and offer a variety of loan options to fit your lifestyle and budget. Call us today, 844-GO-CALIBER, license number CHL 15622, CaliberHomeLoansTreasureCoast.com.
Hi, this is Ellen Contreras, host of Treasure Coast Connector. Listen to my show. I put a spotlight on interesting local businesses and resources, connecting them to you, the consumers in the community. Tune in to Treasure Coast Connector Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. on your weekend home for Planet Vero Radio, Real Radio 1017.
And welcome back to Community Conversations. If you're just joining, my name is Vicki Soule, and I'm the CEO of Treasure Coast Community Health. Had to figure out where I was for a moment. Sorry, my brain went on vacation for a moment without me. I'm here today talking about money types of things with Jeff Pickering from the Community Foundation. So this is not going to be a talk about primary care, whether it's medical or dental or anything else, except in a very abstract, very over-the-top kind of broad discussion, because Jeff's group and others we just talked about put together a community needs assessment. And that was 3 years ago?
2019, we published the results in 2020, yes.
Okay, so 3 years ago, they've just done an upgrade of information. The platform's the same, and we're very grateful that it's so easy to use. And what is that website again, Jeff?
So in order to find the online version of the Community Needs Assessment, it's called Indian River Indicators, and that is www.irindicators.org.
Okay. So it's available for everyone to see and use, and it's so much easier than having to individually go out, as many of us that write grants do or did, to find particular aspects, whether it's on the Department of Health or the American Community Survey or hundreds of other sites. You guys have really honed this down to Indian River County,
right,
as well as comparison against state and national equalizers, I call them.
Right,
Okay.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what the findings were, and then how are they different now?
Great. Well, we believe it's important to practice effective philanthropy using data and information. And the best way for us to do that was to complete the needs assessment. What we found when we published the results in 2020 is that we have a very fast growing population. Right now, it's upwards of over 155,000 total residents throughout the year. The fastest growing age demographic were seniors over the age of 65. We have a fast growing Hispanic population. And so those two factors need to be taken into consideration when we're thinking about developing community resources. Those that can serve people as they age, those that can serve maybe households where English may or may not be the first language. We've seen where we're making some decent progress. So over the years, we've seen our infant mortality rate decline. Historically, 10, 12 years ago, was probably one of the worst in the country. Now it's improved significantly.
Thanks to Healthy Start and others that have joined that
Healthy
fight.
Start Coalition, their Healthy Families program, that almost exclusively funded by philanthropy and public support from the hospital district, has been the difference between at-risk mothers getting access to prenatal care early, and quite frankly, babies getting the support they need to be delivered and then thrive up to the age of 2 healthily. So that's one area where we've seen some significant improvement.
Thank heavens.
Yeah, another area has been the improvements in third grade reading proficiency. We used to be somewhere in the 40-something% of the population was proficient in third grade reading. Now we're close to 60%. We've got a goal of our moonshot moment to be at 90%. It's a big, hairy, audacious goal, but it's one that we're all working towards.
Yep.
High school graduation rates have improved. We've seen improved access to mental health services throughout our community. However, we've got some persistent problems that have just seemed to stick around. One of the biggest ones is poverty, or the percentage of households that are one paycheck away. More than 50% of the population that we serve here in Indian River County is either in poverty or one paycheck away. And with that, of course, comes many of the socioeconomic issues that go along with that. We still have challenges with certain health issues, like high rates of hospitalization for mental health disorders for teens, which are problematic, a higher rate of suicide in the most recent years, which is problematic.
Yep.
We're continuing to see issues related to the senior population that just live too far away from access to healthy food and resources, live alone, don't have many resources to take care of themselves. So fortunately, organizations like SRA, Senior Resources Association, their Meals on Wheels program provide that.
And the Senior Collaborative, which is starting to get some feet under it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So those were the overall kind of big takeaways. What we look at now going forward is our population's continuing to grow. One of the things that I give a significant amount of credit to organizations like Treasure Coast Community Health and other healthcare providers is that we've seen our county's ranking as the healthiest county in Florida go from improvement of 11 rankings. So now we're the 10th healthiest county in Florida out of 67 counties. And so that's been a significant improvement. I would say a good amount of that is increased access to primary dental, behavioral health care. You've seen that proliferation with the expansion of your clinics. Life expectancy has unfortunately dropped a little bit, and some of the death reasons, we attribute much of that to
COVID?
the thing that we don't want to talk about anymore. But we'd like to see that turn around. The disparities exist in different places. I mean, on the beach, your average life expectancy is 87. 3 or 4 miles to the west in Gifford, it was around 75. I think it's extremely wise strategically that TCCH has a clinic in that community. And in 10 years, who knows, we'll do another needs assessment, and maybe we see that disparity in life expectancy go down because of people's access to health care. But there are a number of other things where we continue to see the need for improvement. We think it's going to take an all of the above solution. I mentioned health care. Children's access to care is improved. Children's access to support services improved. Seniors, I mentioned that we still need to bring seniors access to healthy food that we're not seeing.
Food is a big issue.
In terms of education, I'm pleasantly surprised by the high school graduation rates that have increased. But we still have got plenty of work to do in literacy and math proficiency going forward. When it comes to other issues related to who might be impacting the population that TCCH serves, at least part of it, we've still got a high rate of poverty. Too many people, especially renters, are paying more than 30% of their income for housing expenses, and affordability is just becoming more of a challenge. Absolutely. Correlating to that is we're seeing more homeless people and homeless families in our community. Thankfully, we've got a strong network of homeless family services providers, but that's not a statistic that we want to see going forward.
And it's almost impossible to have great health when you have poor living conditions.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just an oxymoron that there's no way to push that together. So until we fight and solve some of these bigger issues, the rising inflation has impacted everyone. Do I have money for rent? No. Do I have money for food? Well, if I don't go to the doctors, or if Johnny doesn't get a new pair of shoes. So some of those poverty-related things, having come from a bigger city, has to do with how do we get so that we are able to earn more on a regular basis here in this county. A lot of people have moved down here, I've heard, and moved back to wherever, Midwest stream they came from, just because it's not the opportunities that they thought it would be.
Yeah, wages are very low, housing costs are high, and people get pinched, and, they may not be able to make it if they can't figure out a way to, earn more income and find a more affordable place to live.
But all is not doom and gloom. I appreciate that you have recognized, we have made a lot of improvements despite COVID, despite all these other external factors in the last couple of years. And I think in large part, it's because it is a team effort.
It is.
Everybody in this community recognizes that if everybody gives a little bit, whether it's kindness or cash or a little extra effort, we will continue to improve. And the Community Foundation is certainly leading that initiative. So
well, we're proud. Well, thank you. We're very proud of it, and we're proud of the investments that we make in organizations like TCCH. Of $110 million that was given to philanthropy in Indian River County last year, a good chunk of that goes to the healthcare space, and the Community Foundation is proud to be a part of all the good work that you're doing.
Well, thank you. We'll be back.
Glad to have you.
Yeah. So again, I thank you all that have been with us for these last 25 minutes, and hope that if you have any questions or concerns about some of the things that you've heard, you've got several resources now that Jeff has provided for us.
communityfoundation.org and irindicators.org.
Okay, and a phone number just in case they're not techie?
772-492-1407.
Okay, so again, if you're considering what the future might bring to you, think about these resources, both on the giving and getting side, and we'll be happy to talk with you more about that on an individual basis. So have a great afternoon, evening, and we'll be back next week. Thank you. And thank you, Jeff, for being with us.
Oh, you're welcome.